Um,
Oh my God, I am totally muted. That entire segment is gone.
Oh no.
I'm telling you, man, I have so much problems with YouTube today. It's ridiculous. Thank you, good sir, Katsu Watsu.
Gatsu Watsu.
Katsu Watsu.
is
We're
that you? Sorry, what are we calling you? Blue?
we're calling him
Thus.
sus.
Sus. Sus. Sorry.
Look, to recap, I'm just saying the word bitch could mean multiple things, just like the word fuck. And we were talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and now I'm just gonna move on. Let's get started here. I have a quick update. We are going to try and get Body Moving from the cat killer segment we did last week. The Netflix documentary. Body Moving was one of the Facebook group leaders who helped find Luca Marbata, or whatever the fuck his name was. And we figured out a way to do it. I figured out a way to do it. Another thing is we've got going on probably next week or the week following is I've got two doctors or close enough doctors to talk about some drugs that are becoming legal now for treatment purposes, such as MDMA. And, you know, it should be really interesting. Lux, I think we'll have it on, on a Thursday. I think we'll land it on a Thursday. But I've got a list, man. I've got some open ends with the interviews. And then also, if you're new, I usually have a custom mechanical keyboard, and today I do not because I am reviewing this keyboard reluctantly.
It's good looking.
It's good looking, man. It's good looking, but I got a crap ton to say about it. It's the G613. It's got some problems. It's got some
So it
problems.
ain't bitchin'?
It ain't. It ain't bitching, that's for sure. This is an important topic, guys. On the note of like drugs, let's talk about crack for a minute. Remember last year we had the crack story? Last week, not last year. We had the story regarding crack and an old strip club in Scummyvale called the Brass Rail that used to be my second home. And a buddy who used to go with us sent us this picture of where the Brass Rail used to be. And nobody will know, all these people living in these fancy ass apartments will ever know how I did crack there, how a stripper took me home one night, how the DJ used to say my name when I entered, and how a guy was murdered in front of the Brass Rail. Rest in peace, Brass Rail. You've now become part of Scummyvale. Forever.
Scummyvale history.
All right. So one thing I want to wait. I think we're all sus a little bit, especially after the story of doing crack at the Brass Rail.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So I kind of wanted to kick this off a little bit differently today. I wanted to do a slight conspiracy segment. So, what are some conspiracies that you believe in? I'm talking like, do you believe in aliens? Do you believe the government, caused 9/11? Like, name a couple. You want to go first, Lux?
Yeah, I'll kick us off. I mean, I don't believe like aliens are here. I don't know if I would call it a conspiracy. My feelings on aliens, but I mean, for sure, statistically speaking, it's unlikely we're the only life in the universe. But I wouldn't call holding that viewpoint a conspiracy theory. What I do believe in that I think is potentially what you could say is more along the lines of conspiracy theory is just the involvement between or the relationship between mainstream media, certain political parties, and the government. So, like, I mean, like we talked about it a little bit a couple of weeks ago, I think, with, it seemed to be that there's a relationship between the Elizabeth Warren campaign, the DNC, and CNN. And they sort of fabricated this beef with Bernie for whatever reason, to try and manipulate the system, to try and get, additional viewers, whatever. So I definitely hardcore believe in that, and I think it happens on both sides.
Yeah, I can see
that's
that.
the one that comes to mind.
I could see that for sure. I don't think that's a conspiracy theory either, because I just goddamn think it's real.
Yeah.
I mean, something that we learned about, or that we're seeing in the news today is, it's come the crunch time at the caucus in Ohio, and all the politicians are trying to make deals with each other. They're trying to consolidate right now, and it's interesting to read about because that the other candidates are trying to push the others out by tempting them with consolidation.
Yep.
It's kind of a sad thing to see. How about you, Sess? Conspiracies.
Honestly, I don't really believe in any, but cryptids. Now that's a different topic.
What the hell is a cryptid? Explain yourself.
That's a whole different topic. You don't want to delve into that unless you're interested in
How are you going to say that on air and not explain it?
Cryptids are like Bigfoot.
Mothman. So is Godzilla a cryptid?
No.
Have you heard this term before, Lux?
I mean, I've heard of Bigfoot. I've never heard of it being called a cryptic. So I guess I don't know.
Wait, are you saying cryptic or cryptic or
cryptic? Not God. You really think I'm gonna be talking about dick on a live show? Well, now I am.
I mean, I'm talking about dick all day.
Up top.
It's a cryptid. Oh man. Okay. Well, on that note, the coronavirus is spreading, right? Everybody's talking about it right now. There's a dashboard that has been created. It's a heat map of the spread. And it shows, let's see if I can get this graph in here. It shows all the places confirmed. We've grown to 8,236 people confirmed. A lot of people thought that it was, I gotta stop saying only in China, mainly in China, and it is, but I think people thought it was like 200 people, and it's grown much more. And as far as I know, nobody has a cure yet for it. We have 171 deaths, all in the mainland of China. Wait, hold on. Two confirmed, 0 deaths in California. Okay, never mind. These are confirmed. So there are people recovering. It's got a recovery column here. I didn't know that. Nobody's talking about the cure. Nobody's talking about that it is curable. I think maybe they're just trying to spread panic right now.
I mean, I read somewhere that they said they might be able to have a cure in like a year or so. But I mean, that's just on a webpage, and it could be wrong.
Well, I mean, I hear it's treatable, but all we hear about is that it's become like a global problem, and nobody's talking about people recovering. And I mean, I know why that is. They want views and stuff like that. But Here's the status in the United States. Thank God it hasn't reached New York, because I feel like this place is a cesspool for all that stuff. And there's a few cases in Europe. There's like 3 cases in Europe.
I think there's a confirmed case in Chicago.
Yes. Well, it's blacked out. I don't know what blacked out means. Maybe they recovered. I do not know.
Who put this together?
I think some scientist dude by John Hopkins, some university thing.
It sounds official. Scientist.
I guess. But it's cool that it even exists.
Well, I'm just curious, because if this is data from the Chinese, so that's a lot of the conversation I've been having, like at work and stuff, about this, is if they're saying, if this is data coming from the Chinese, and the Chinese government, and they're saying it's 8,000, they're likely lying. And so, or it's at least highly questionable.
Well, there's a conspiracy theory that you believe
well, government.
in.
The Chinese government, I mean, is definitely, it's 100%. There's no doubt that they lie and secure information.
For sure. I mean, even when I watch marketing come from China, it's very, very skewed and weird. And I think partially that's a language barrier. But here's a conspiracy theory. What if the United States hit China with this? And, they're going on holiday. They are already slowing down production because the deal that we signed a week or 2 ago didn't remove any of the tariffs. It's phase 1. What if they just dropped it to slow down production even more? I don't know. It's just a thought.
Yeah.
It's pissing me off because I have shit I need done in China. Free Bitcoin through some company. What is this? There's I think there's one article. It's like a couple articles.
Yeah, I think this is a link to the company's website. I just thought it was interesting. You guys, there's a lot of conversation about Bitcoin. It's not really my area.
Oh yeah, sure. So you get paid for sharing your location?
Yeah, so it seems kind of interesting, an interesting idea. I just saw an ad for it on YouTube one day, so I checked it out and thought it might be interesting to talk about. I don't know if you've heard of it, but I guess you take this little coin and you use it to set up like geo-tagging that is then sold to companies that would use that sort of data.
That's fair.
I don't quite understand how it works. But it seems interesting, and there's a real world monetization model that backs it, that is outside of, and monetization model and value proposition that backs the currency, that I think is something that's easier for me to wrap my head around.
Sure.
And now I see something like this. I go, okay, now I see value in Bitcoin versus traditional Bitcoin. It's purely speculative. There's no real world value, or at least in my opinion.
Yeah. There's a lot of cryptocurrencies doing something like this where, they'll pay you for your information, because as a whole, we're moving towards like privacy and financial independence, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's this wouldn't be the first. I've seen a couple of them, and I've seen a couple in like the advertising space where they do some of this. So you see advertisements and you exchange some of your information for some money, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was something I was reading about. Bitcoin is old. It is old, and there's a lot other crypto that are faster, but it's been the backing assets of all these other cryptocurrencies, and with crypto in general, the idea that you can get away from your bank can't ever freeze your funds because it's decentralized, right? You can't. That's like the argument against some centralized cryptocurrencies. But this is definitely interesting. I got to look into it a little bit more. The website's kind of trash, but
yeah, for sure.
There's also a crypto called Electronium, and it's basically a mobile app. They have their own phone. They're targeting like low GDP areas with crypto, because for them crypto is very valuable because it holds more value than their own currencies. Of course they're used by hacker groups. They're not just used by hacker groups. I mean, I am seriously considering going full-blown crypto. Full-blown crypto.
Oh no.
Yeah. That's a conspiracy theory right there.
No, it's not. It's not. Guys, I figured out a way to do it so that I don't gain, I pay my bills and not gain capital, capital gains tax, not incur capital gains tax. Sorry, I'm wondering what happened to the music. It's kind of a weird hackable way, and I'm probably going to make a video about it. But, I think for me, it's partially the principle, and the Fed just said that they're going to be stimulating inflation over the next year. So it's going to suck for average people, but crypto is going to do okay in that environment. Crypto is going to flourish in that environment. Mm-hmm. But what I mean by full-blown crypto is I don't have to go full on Bitcoin or Ethereum or something like that. And if Ethereum, we'll get to that later. But there are stable coins, and I'm talking about keeping stable coins are coins that are tied to the dollar. So one coin is equal to $1. It's backed by $1. So I'm talking about going 50 into cryptocurrencies that are like altcoins and Bitcoin, and then the other half in stable coins. I have a strategy, man. I'll explain it to you if you want.
Sounds like you're playing the lottery right here.
No. No. Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, you know my feelings about Bitcoin. I don't get it. I don't see it. I don't see it ever. I mean, you've explained it a couple of times in ways where I'm like, okay, maybe that could be helpful, like the helping in transactions and stuff like that. But outside of that, it just seems rather pointless, frankly. So I mean, until I see it in terms like this company is talking about, where there's a real value proposition, it's hard for me to.
I said no name. Hey man, welcome. Who's Lux Lucette? Lux Lucette? Welcome.
That guy's really cool.
Oh, is that you?
Yeah.
All right. And I said no name. Hopefully that's a real person. Magnetic fields. Okay, so we were talking about how I'm like obsessed with magnetic fields, right? NASA put together this lovely little, that's not what I was trying to get to, but NASA put together this lovely little article. I was, exploring. Why does it keep going to the same thing? Oh, did I copy the same thing? All right, it's over. We're moving on to the next thing. Atari is going to be opening their own hotel, and they're going to be featuring VR and augmented reality games and inside the hotel.
Hell yeah.
What 30-year-old
which is going to be really, really interesting, because I don't know if you guys remember, because I know you're both from the same area as me, AFK Lounge. Do you remember that? It was like a bar plus a video game lounge, so you can play on computers, you can order food, you can get drinks, and each booth had like an Xbox attached to it. And they opened up another one in Vegas, and they did wildly successful, but I think the one in the Bay Area is now closed.
Yeah, they have a new one though that they just opened up in
is that right?
In South Bay. I don't know if it's similar to AFK. I never went to AFK. But yeah, they opened one up I think it was this year, or 2019, in downtown Campbell.
Oh, all right. Not bad. I can get down with that. I'm really surprised that it even became a thing. You know, I like to play video games at home. But
really?
Yeah, well, I mean, one time. What do you mean, really?
I mean, like, well, I don't know if I can call myself a quote-unquote gamer girl just because I play a few video games, but, like, I know so many people who, like, enjoy video games, and they even, like, even though they have, like, a console at home or, like, a really good computer at home, they still want to, like, go out and try new things, especially if they can't afford it, like a VR lounge where you can play VR and shit like that. Oh god, e-girl, shut up.
Well, I think that VR is different. I think VR is a little bit different. Nah, VR is not different. I think if you have a VR like treadmill, I think it's worth going out to one of those things and like doing VR. But I mean, the whole point of VR is that I can be wherever I want to be and kind of transport myself out of this world.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no, go ahead. No, you.
I was gonna say I kind of agree with you, Sus. Yeah, it's for sure a thing. Like, I mean, especially like, I mean, just look at the Wii, right? There's certainly an attraction to it. I've been wanting to go. I haven't gone yet. I've never gone to one, but I've been wanting to go. I
me
just
too.
can't get anyone to book me.
Me
I have
too.
No I have no friends.
Same.
So
my girlfriend won't
also,
even go with me.
I mean, like, it's a different sort of thing. Like, I mean, I would definitely consider myself a gamer, but I've got, you know, like there's different like different types of gaming. You know what I mean? Like, depending on how you feel. Like, sometimes you just want to sit there and you want to, like, you know, grind in Destiny or something, and then other times you just want to like kind of chill and play like an open world RPG, and then other times you just want to log on and have like a quick match in you know, PUBG or something. So it's like different. Sometimes you just have different you know, what you're looking to do. And so, you know, for sure there are times where I'm like, you know, yeah, I want to go out and I want to sit and I want to have a beer and I want to play, you know, Wii bowling with a bunch of friends while we get drunk, you know, like, and now there's a place you can go and do it.
Right.
Yeah, so like it's same could be said about arcades. Like, I sometimes go out with my friends to like a specific what's it called, Dave and Buster's. Even though we have Mario Kart on our Switch, but they have like a cool ass version of Mario Kart at the arcade where you can like sit in a little booth and you play with the wheel, and you know, and it's fun because it's also about availability. Like, sometimes your friends might not have specific consoles, but you still want to play this one game, and they just so happen to have it at a separate place.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't know you played D2. One of the best games. Destiny's like one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, it's just I want to get into them, and it's just so time consuming. I can't I don't have enough time for that. Let's see. This, an open letter to Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff.
Yeah, so I thought this was interesting. Less so. So this is from a letter from a journalist to Mark Benioff, asking him to like fund local journalism in San Francisco, and I'm not sure I agree with the cause or whatever, but I like the idea of trying to influence, maybe not necessarily CEOs, but corporations in general, to take on social good projects. I've had this idea for a while, like rather than it always be about taxation, why not create incentives to push private sector firms to get actively involved with more social good projects. So this is just talking about the layer of funding. But like, what if hey, Salesforce, we're going to tax you, whatever percent, 25% of your profits, or you can build, 10,000 units of affordable housing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. An ultimatum.
Something like, or here's a menu of different things that we need done. And pick, pick. And if you hit certain benchmarks, we won't tax you. Or, you know what I mean? Like I don't.
That's actually. I need to think about that for a minute. But on the surface, it kind of sounds like a good idea. Yeah.
I just like it better than the idea of taxation because, the idea of taxation is that the corporations don't have.
It's unconstitutional.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But the idea is right. Like corporations don't have any incentive or responsibility to do these things for society. Yep. So we take that money away from them, give it to the government, and the government is supposed to do it. The problem is the government's incompetent and is incapable of doing these things. So get the government out of the way. They're a problem. They're not a solution. Corporations are very good at creating solutions to problems. That's what they do. That's why they exist.
Yeah.
And so if you interject them, rather than just trying to take their money away, get them to solve these problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not going to solve the problem of, a lack of affordable housing unless there is a, relatively strong suggestion of, financial gain or monetization, right? Like they have to have some sort of incentive. So in the lack of an incentive, we create one, so there might be, some unintended externalities. I don't know how it might affect markets. There's obviously a lot of research would have to be, done around an idea like this if you wanted to do it at scale. But it's an interesting concept, right? Like, fuck the money, fuck the taxes, get them to do stuff, get them to build more mass transit, public transit, get them to build affordable housing, get them to do, local mental health clinics, like get them to do those kinds of things and not just pay for it, but actively execute on the project. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Once upon a time, at least when you look in like New York, right? There are tons of buildings and public areas that were built up by private companies and financed by private companies, not necessarily by the city. And maybe that time is over. Maybe we don't have people who do that stuff anymore. But so Macy's during Thanksgiving throws a parade. You've been to it, right, Lux?
No, I never went.
Okay, well, it's a great large parade with these gigantic balloons, and everybody goes. The streets are crowded. It's sponsored by Macy's, and of course, Macy's gets a cut out of it because it's free advertising, but also it's just like a social good, And the Rockefeller Building in New York is a tourist attraction. That creates money for the city as well. But they don't have to light a tree every year, but they do it anyways.
Yeah.
And it's not like Rockefeller's a brand that people are looking to anymore. It's really for the city. And that's, that was built off of just kind of private good. But I like this idea for sure.
Yeah. The parade stuff, the tree thing, that kind of stuff I think happens a lot, but it's primarily done for advertising. I mean, frankly, that's why they're doing it.
Well, of course, but it's the same thing. They have incentive to do it,
right?
So they do it. If you
Exactly.
give them incentive to do it, they will produce amazing things that people will enjoy.
Yeah.
MCR Reunion Tour. I did not even realize, Sus, that you were big on this. Our mutual friend Lux, not Lux, but Lux and my mutual friend, I think got beat up by one of the members from this thing. He was peeing on the tour bus, on their tour bus, and they came out and they caught him, and I think they hit him in the face or something.
That's
but
awesome.
I grew up going to these shows when they weren't that big. It's crazy. So they're doing a reunion tour, and sorry, continue, Sus. I'm sorry for that.
It's okay. I only really mentioned it because I was scrolling through Twitter and Tumblr and just trying to see what was up, and I saw that and I'm like, oh shit! I know a bunch of people are super into MCR and they're super happy about it, and they're trying to sort of sort out what the new videos are all about, decode it and shit.
So they have new videos. Is this the new video, A Summoning or whatever?
It's one of them. I think it's more like an introduction.
Let me just watch it real quick.
Sure.
Because I haven't seen it. Oops, I'm not gonna get it. He's tying his shoe. Some shit like that. Getting out of bed. Looks like my bed with no sheets. Back in the day.
A lot of people commented that this is in one part of the video that there's a a gay vampire bar.
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't surprise me either, but so many people commented on it and I found it kind of funny.
We're gonna skip through this for a minute because, I don't need to see him making coffee. But you're saying that there's Easter eggs throughout this video.
Yeah, kind of sort of telling a story, because there was another one, the first one called An Offering.
Yeah.
And then a second one came out called MCR XX, which stands for 2020. And then this came out, A Summoning, and they're kind of trying to piece it together to see what the story is about.
Dude, I don't think the Catholic Church has any say anymore in these affairs. Ooh, this is a scary movie. All right, this is too long. This is a movie. I can't get through it. Oh man, it's so weird to see these old pop punk bands now be old farts playing these gigs. My Chemical Romance has a good brand still going for them though. That's for sure. Billie Elish, Song of the Year, Bad Guy, second youngest to win a Grammy.
How old is she?
She's
I think 19. I'm probably wrong though.
Doesn't she just whisper throughout her songs?
No, she doesn't whisper. She just kind of sings it softly. She has a specific tone with her songs.
Sure.
there are definitely songs where she gets a little bit louder and more high pitched.
Yeah, I know. It just doesn't, like, I saw this live on SNL, but it just makes me feel, I don't know. I think the Grammys have gotten it all wrong. Like, on Tuesday we were talking about the Grammys and how they gave an award to the creator as a rap artist instead of as just like a singer. It's simply probably because he's like black and a rap primarily artist. And I just think I just think they have it wrong all the time. I don't think they really know what they're doing. I think the Grammys are kind of meaningless.
Yeah.
Sitting there having a conversation with Joe Rogan. If the guy wins the presidency, like, the fact that he went on a podcast, I don't know, that's kind of a big deal. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's a very significant shift if it happens, in how, you know, politicians interact with the public. So it's pretty cool. And I just thought it was pretty cool that you know, there was a ton of backlash. Of course, everyone, you know, Joe Rogan can be a little bit of a controversial figure, and you know, the super lefty, you know, blue checkmark Twitterati folks like to, you know, use woke political views as a, you know, sort of a weapon. You know, obviously, you know, don't like guys like Joe Rogan, and so they immediately jumped on this. And so there was a lot of backlash. And Bernie didn't.
I've listened to him a couple times. He didn't seem like he had a. You know, I would agree with NC that he kind of has been relatively neutral on some things, and I think that's probably because he has a podcast, and you know, he'll like say one thing but also counteract with another and not really be too specific. I think that's probably because he's trying to protect himself.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. He's pretty neutral. He's fairly moderate. Actually, he's very left-leaning on a lot of things, but he's widely considered by those on the woke, you know, radical left sort of side of things, to be transphobic, which there's depending on how you feel about certain trans issues and what stance you take, there's an argument to be made that he is transphobic. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's the case, but you know, that's basically where this backlash is coming from, is that there's certain political elements that have deemed Joe Rogan to be, you know, racist, misogynistic, transphobic, bigot, and so he's, you know, anytime he does anything, they try to.
Let me ask you guys something. I posted something on Twitter because I was just really pissed off about my health insurance situation. Fuck Aetna. Aetna sucks and is a damn scam. Reimburse me for my claim that you're supposed to be covering, you crooks. And then I got a response from Aetna Hell, and it must be a bot or something. I told them to fuck off. Then they responded again. I again told them to stop. But like, this got retweeted and liked. And then I went on Aetna Help, and I kind of scrolled down and just to see how many complaints they get. And they get a lot. And yeah. I came across a trans post, and he or she was basically saying, you guys stopped paying for my bills for hormones. And I don't know, I guess I was wondering what you guys thought of that. Like, do you think health insurance should be paying for hormones?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I kind of take that view a little bit when we're talking about, certainly when we're talking about private healthcare.
Which just means that, like, I'm not getting my shit covered. Why are you going to turn around and pay this person?
Yeah, so I don't know. I think that these are two extremely complicated issues that you're bringing together, in terms of, the American healthcare system and, trans rights, whatever you want to call that topic. Those are two extremely complicated topics that I think we're dealing with as a society right now.
Sure.
And weaving them together is beyond us. We can't even get our heads around level one of these issues yet. You know what I mean? So
sure.
I
mean,
don't feel one way or the other.
I'll put out an opinion. I think a lot of people are probably worried about putting out an opinion, but remember, guys, it's just an opinion, right? Like, free to change my mind, whatever. I don't think that they should be paying for it. That's my opinion, and if somebody is free to help change my mind, I don't think so.
I agree with NC. What NC just said right there.
I don't think anyone should be paying obscene insurance costs for worthless services in the first place. I do not consider trans hormones a medically necessary or healthy choice either. Okay.
The second part of his statement, I don't agree with, but the first part of his statement for sure I agree with. Like, I think healthcare, the entire U.S. health system is completely fucking broken and just corrupt to the nth degree.
I know.
And so, I mean,
for a long time I was about private insurance, but then you're paying pretty much the same thing that you might be paying the government anyways.
I don't know. I don't know enough about it to like.
It's going one way or another.
Yeah, it's fuck.
Jake's in Canada, so he's chilling right now. He's got no worries. This guy.
Yeah, I mean, for one, it's a little bit scary for I'm assuming people in our relative age bracket. Most of us are probably, millennials or around there.
I think we got some Gen Zs. Jake's probably Gen Z.
Well, millennials, Gen Zs, we're kind of in the same boat to a certain degree with this stuff. But like, if you completely make public the U.S. healthcare system, then you're essentially going to put that financial burden of funding the healthcare of baby boomers, who will be the primary beneficiaries of a free healthcare system. You're taking that financial burden and putting it on the younger generations.
You mean like people like Peter Schiffballs?
Dude, I don't know who that is.
Oh my God, we talked about it. I think last week or Tuesday or something like that. Yeah, whatever. Anyways. Yeah, I mean, aren't we doing that with Social Security anyways?
For sure, but that's the point of Social Security, and it's not.
I mean, I'm just not big on Social Security.
I mean, it's kind of pointless at this point.
Jake's like, I don't even know what you guys are talking about. Listen, this is a thing. It's called. So the story is that I was, having some private time with my pee-pee, and I was visiting 4chan, which is a great place to have like happy times with your pee-pee, and I came across this, which is it's called Aegeo. Maybe you know what it.
Yeah, exactly.
Ahego.
A gay hole. A gay hole.
Ahego.
A gay hole. Oh.
You know what? Yeah, sure.
I love it. It's amazing. And but I didn't know there was a word for it, okay? I really didn't know there was a word for it. Here's the thing. I did some digging after this because I was so weirded out by this. This woman called Delphine.
How are you
Belle
just finding
Delphine.
out about this shit, dude? How
All
do
right.
you not know about this?
Because I'm just stupid. That's why.
This has been a thing for a long time.
Apparently created it or like popularized it. It came from hentai and anime, but she's now banned from Instagram. But check this, which you probably didn't know, and maybe you do, is that she was selling her bathwater,
Yeah.
and
Old news.
she makes $300K a year off of bathwater.
Yeah. She was selling her bathwater for like $300 or something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't her bathwater though.
What do you think it was?
No, it legitimately wasn't her like bathwater. It was just, I think, water
Just water. Hey,
that she
Chucks.
like washed her face in or some shit.
I don't know. Personally, I'm like, who cares? More power to her. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure. I would love to sell my boxers.
I think she's great. Belle Delphine is a smart girl.